Okay, we've got one more talk left for the day. It is by Paul Kohlhaas, who I'm sure many of you know from Molecule. He has a background in economics, has successfully founded his own company, Linen Labs, and then him and Tyler got together and started building Molecules in about 2018. And Paul has also recently taken on sort of a really strong role in the BioXYZ leading team. And yeah, they're doing some exciting stuff. So here he is.
Cool, thank you so much. Yeah, first of all, a big thank you to all of you for sticking throughout the whole day, keeping some of the most exciting things for last to keep you guys engaged. No, yeah, I really truly appreciate all of you coming, engaging, spending time here in this nascent emerging ecosystem. I think it's still so early, and maybe to kick things off and to lighten up the mood a little bit, we want to showcase kind of a video impression of why we think BioXYZ is really important. This is still kind of unreleased. We're still working on the final version, but to kind of lighten up the mood, we're going to show you guys a little peek preview into the mission and vision of what we're trying to build with the Bio protocol. Let's hope this works. Woo! Yeah, I think this is a first nice artistic impression in terms of where we want to take the ecosystem. We really see the Bio protocol as becoming this connective tissue. This is a first version. Wait, maybe just something. Oh, okay, weird. Sorry, the formatting on the slides is weird. Can you check that it's not a PDF, but that it's a, or just the directpitch.com link? Okay, it's weird that it's in Times New Roman. Okay, no worries. I'll just roll with the punches. Cool, so BioXYZ was actually formally announced at DeSci Berlin 2022, so just about 2 years ago. Since then, we've seen a whole innovation of BioDAOs emerge from the underlying systems and protocols that we're developing. And today, I kind of want to share with you all what we've been building towards at Bio and how we actually intend to solve a lot of the issues that we've seen emerge in the BioDAO ecosystem and kind of usher in a next wave of a crypto demand side to really come in and direct capital into where we think it's most needed. So I often like to say, I think today we live in a time of science friction and not a science fiction. And so one of our core goals is to bring to bring DeSci back into being sci-fi, into being science fiction. And Bio really aims to fix this by building BioDAOs that bring science on-chain, enabling scientific communities and patient communities to direct capital to build IP portfolios and to sell products directly down to consumer. So vertically integrated virtual R&D organizations. Scientists today and patients are really disenfranchised from each other. So if we think today how the two core value groups in drug development, in medicine, you have scientists on the one side, you have patients on the other side, and throughout this pharmaceutical industrial complex that we've created over time, they've been really disenfranchised. So we see a core role of BioXYZ and of Bio to realign incentives for collaboration, leading to better cures and healthier outcomes. How does this work? So this is one of the typical BioDAO kind of flywheels that we've seen and developed over time. You have enthusiasts and backers that come into these organizations. Ideally, you have patient groups that they work with, and then you have scientists, and that kind of creates a flywheel of innovation. We've heard a lot of different the DAOs present today, a lot of the different models, but fundamentally we think there's something extremely powerful here in this novel framework. Something that actually an increasing amount of BioDAOs are also doing are directly issuing products to the communities that they create. So the BioDAOs can partner with pharma organizations to out-license IP. They can create IPTs, which we heard about earlier, to their communities. They can sell products directly to D2C businesses or partner with universities to bring in IP. Our community today has already built over 6 of these BioDAOs. I think we're actually at 7 or 8 now. And yeah, we're only getting started. I think if you kind of have to remember that we're 2 years into this movement, and that I think the railways have yet to be fully laid. I spoke with a lot of folks today, and yeah, the space I think today is aching similar to where Ethereum was in 2018, 2019. I often liken it to where DeFi was in 2017. Like we're only beginning to see real primitives emerge. And I think now that we've seen this first wave of BioDAO innovation, what we aim to do at Bio Protocol is really kind of lay the railways for this to become a lot more scalable. Sorry, I never use Times New Roman, so please apologize for that. So what are we doing at Bio? So Bio incubates and accelerates these BioDAOs. That's what we've been doing to date, and we help them create liquid token economies that accelerate research. What you'll see on the right, for instance, is Cerebrum DAO's recent token auction that raised a total of 1.3 million for neurodegeneration and neuroscience research broadly. So we're really excited that capital continues to move in. But we've also increasingly asked ourselves, like, how can we actually scale all of this? A lot of the BioDAOs today are still operating through this convolution of snapshot, multi-sig, legal agreements, being incorporated in different jurisdictions, and we want to bring that whole series of steps from the Web3 set that have to be done into a Web3 native environment. What we have today, I think, is a flourishing ecosystem. Treasuries, over 20 million raised, over 10 million funded in research. The total ecosystem market cap is just around 200 million in the BioDAO space. We have DNA from industry giants. Pfizer made an investment into VitaDAO. We have the former chief scientific officer of Novartis, for instance, wanting to build a DAO with us. We've been featured 4 times in Nature Biotech. Which, even if you think about that, over the past 2 years, there have been 4 independent articles about this movement in Nature Biotech. And an increasing amount of interest in DeSci from folks like Vitalik, Brian Armstrong, Balaji, and CZ. So this early success has now accelerated this bio flywheel and grown the bioeconomy. The best ideas and teams rise to the top. This creates an increased amount of funding to solve problems. More milestone achievements in DeSci leads to more interest in DeSci problem solving, leads to more ideas. And so we're currently at a stage where this flywheel is beginning to spin. And we think now is the time to actually accelerate it and make it spin a lot faster by applying best-in-class crypto economics. So I said this earlier, we launched actually at DeSci Berlin in 2022 by Molecule. And I've been working really hard over the past couple of months to actually ensure that Bio as an ecosystem can now fully decentralize. So we launched our first cohort in 2023, and then also formed the BioXYZ Association. So the BioXYZ Association is a Swiss nonprofit entity that is essentially taking over the stewardship of the brand and the ecosystem that has been created here. And we just had a board decision about a couple of weeks ago for Bio to be fully spun out of Molecule. We're very actively working on the next cohort. And in the next couple of slides, I'll actually tell you about what that decentralization entails, how it's going to work, and what it means for the ecosystem. So our vision at Bio is really to become a fully automated liquidity and curation protocol for the formation of on-chain scientific communities. So this also now moves out of the space of normal biotechnology or drug discovery research. For example, in our next cohort, we have the preeminent researcher in quantum biology that approached our team a couple of months ago wanting to build one of these BioDAOs with us. And so we think this can actually go far beyond just biotech and be applied as a general new model to foster scientific innovation on-chain. With Bio, our goal really is to blend DeFi and DeSci, so decentralized finance and decentralized science, to kind of create a new category, which our lead engineer, Malik, has colloquially termed science finance or sci-fi. So moving out of science fiction into science fiction. And Bio, in this way, provides meta-governance over all of the communities in its ecosystem, and as an autonomous protocol, directs capital and talent into this growing DeSci ecosystem. We're essentially in the middle of a launch. Some of you might have already gone onto the Bio website where you can claim your airdrop. But there's a DeSci airdrop that actually, I think it started yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. There's a Genesis event that, if all goes super smooth, with our development team, is going to start happening at the end of next week. So stay tuned for that. And then the next step after that is really to launch what we colloquially call the Bio Pharmacy, bringing in some of the best system dynamics that we know out of DeFi into DeSci, and really enabling the broader crypto capital market and DeFi market participants to come and provide liquidity in this emerging ecosystem. So something that we found over time, that most of the BioDAOs today still really struggle to attract traditional DeFi capital, because they're like, most of the tokens that the BioDAOs have issued are kind of like passive governance tokens, meaning you can't actively generate yield on them. And this is something that we aim to change with Bio. If you're an active builder or participant in the ecosystem, if you've ever participated in a BioDAO auction, if you hold BioDAO tokens, if you've been active in one of the Discords as a scientist, if you participated in the VitaDAO Genesis auction, if you voted on early VitaDAO proposals, if you participated in the DeSci Gitcoin funding rounds. So we've kind of taken a snapshot of the on-chain DeSci activity that we've been able to find through date to ensure that if you've been an active user, participant in the DeSci ecosystem on-chain, that you can essentially also be an active participant in the Bio network. The next phase of the launch is essentially seeding the Bio protocol. So we have a Bio Genesis Fair launch that will enable anyone that holds BioDAO tokens, or even DeSci tokens more broadly, to contribute into seeding the Genesis protocol in return for 20% of the initial network supply. And this also includes organizations like Research Hub, for instance, that will be included in this broader meta-governance layer that the Bio protocol is building. I believe that just like decentralized finance did, DeSci really has to thrive on integrations, on open APIs that kind of integrate the space in a cross-connected way. Here's a little snapshot of what that's going to look like. But this is essentially following the same vein that many of our BioDAOs have followed. We really believe in these fair launch principles. If you hold BioDAO tokens today and are interested in participating in the genesis of the network, would love to speak to you or would love to have you involved. So what are some of the features of Bio? So Bio really provides meta-governance. It's a single token that unlocks voting across a number of these BioDAOs. And meta-governance in DeFi has often been a negative-sum game. So as liquidity protocols grow over time, you have token holders that want to extract more and more value from the protocol in the form of API. And we actually believe that in DeSci, meta-governance can become a positive-sum game, because ultimately all of these organizations, all of these BioDAOs are fundamentally backed by scientific IP. They're fundamentally backed by the research assets that Molecule's framework is bringing on chain. And as we've already seen, organizations like industry giants like Pfizer are actively interested in owning governance in these organizations. For me, I liken Pfizer's early purchase of Vita tokens to kind of like, it happened so early, like we were really shocked about it at the time that they had the strong interest to get involved. And it's a bit, if you compare this to DeFi, it's a bit like if, I don't know, if JP Morgan or Goldman had decided early on to be a liquidity provider in Uniswap. And I think what's fundamentally different from DeFi to DeSci is that TradSci, so both academia and pharma, are actually really interested in engaging in these new models because they solve a fundamental pain point that the industry has failed to solve, which is this kind of valley of death. Then it's liquidity, so deepening liquidity pools, and Bio creates efficient on and off ramps for different BioDAOs. And then funding, so voters in the Bio ecosystem can drive capital to specific BioDAOs or IP assets and bring them to life. So we really see Bio as connecting and supercharging BioDAOs and becoming a gateway to the emerging DeSci economy. Why now? Because we're proving the success of the BioDAO model, and there's an increasing amount of EAC. If you're maybe familiar with the EAC movement, there's now an emerging BioAC movement, and this really kind of, I think, hits the zeitgeist of where the space is at. So yeah, CZ recently tweeted about this. We've had a whole range of tweets about EAC, BEF-JSOS, if some of you are familiar. It's BioAC time, accelerate humans to compete with AI. And so we really feel that this plays into the current zeitgeist of a much broader community, and that we have the ability with something like BioAC and bioaccelerationism to onboard a much broader community into crypto, ultimately of biotech builders, of the next generation of scientists. And I'll just finish with something that's important to me. I really think if compute is a substrate for intelligence, if compute is a substrate for AI, then biotechnology itself should be viewed as a substrate for life. And I think we need to accelerate our biology and integrating it into society and culture rather than being afraid of change and rather than decelerating. So this plays into the EAC movement where over the past year, we've had a lot of voices around we need to decelerate AI, we need to be super careful how we're, what the impact that this has on humanity. I think the same rings true to some extent in biotech. But I think in biotech, we've been really, genetic modification is viewed as something overtly negative. And biotech often has a very negative connotation, whereas we should actually just lean in fully and accelerate it and consider it a part of culture and life. So for us, BioAC really fuses three megatrends. It's biotech, Web3, and then artificial intelligence. So another thing that we really focus on at the Bio Protocol is you heard on some of the previous talks how AI agents, how LLM networks, how knowledge graphs can be integrated in these different BioDAOs to generate so much more efficiency for the researchers and patients that are coming into them. And this is another core role that we see ourselves playing at Bio, is integrating all of these emerging systems into the BioDAOs as they come in and making it as seamless as possible for research teams that have very little exposure to Web3 or even to this DeSci ecosystem to begin spinning up these organizations and accelerating biology. So we're here to accelerate longevity, accelerate neuroscience, accelerate genetic engineering, accelerate synthetic biology, accelerate fertility, and ultimately to accelerate life. Accelerate life on Earth for all humans. So that's what BioAC is about. And why we think, that we're at the start of something really important here. We wouldn't be anything without all of the amazing builders that we heard speak today. And yeah, really excited for tomorrow, really excited for building this next chapter with you. And if you're interested to get involved in the Bio Protocol as we're kind of in this decentralization step, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We'll be releasing a lot more information and details on how the protocol is going to work in the coming days. There's always, maybe some of you investors are familiar with this, there's always a bit of a process entailed with decentralization where you need to be careful what you communicate in certain parts of rolling out a decentralized system. But yeah, if you're interested to learn more, interested to get in touch, or even interested to contribute, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any members of our team. We built a really powerful team of kind of DeFi builders that are now coming into the DeSci space to really enable scientists and the next wave of BioDAOs to be a lot more efficient. And if you're still in town tomorrow, we're organizing a BioAC rave together with some folks from SciDAO and some other AI folks that are in Berlin at the moment. It's gonna, if you're attending to DeSci Berlin, you automatically have entry to the event anyway. It starts at 9 p.m. tomorrow at Eve. And yeah, again, if you need more information, if you want to come, want to be on the guest list, just let me know. And I think with that, I'm really excited to close the first day of DeSci Berlin and really excited to see all of you tomorrow.